Hello again, codename Spencer Still again. And one of my friends actually brought me a gun to fix today. It is a JG M4 CQB with a railed handguard and kind of a crane stock with like a what I would call like an HK 416 style butt pad. A pretty good gun in my opinion. It is plastic body, but it has a full metal, front handguard and barrel, and even the front side is full metal. And anyway, I'm going to try to make up for time. I don't want this video to be too long. And I wasn't going to make any more tech videos, but the last one did pretty well on views. So here we go again. What's wrong with the gun is that currently with the battery plugged into it, a LiPo, it will do absolutely nothing. Like, it won't even try to spin the motor. And I've already checked the fuse, and the fuse looks fine. So I'm going to take it apart to Gearbox and see what's going on with this thing. Because I do want to get it to work because it looks pretty good. Alright, so I actually skipped a step on video. I did this the other night, and I took off the base plate of the motor grip, and it has this little annoying thing for the motor adjustment height, so where there's this little plate and then like a screw on the bottom, and both of those things were actually incredibly difficult to put back into the gun. So I'm not going to put it in just for the video itself, but I am ready to finish taking apart the gun so that we can figure out what's going on with it. Here's the motor. I believe this is standard in JG guns, so it's super high power, and it looks pretty good. We're going to find out if this is a good motor or not, but the magnetism on it is really strong, so I'm expecting it to have some pretty good torque, maybe some speed. Okay, so next I would take off the crane stock, but before I do that, I want to show you guys the inside of it. Okay, so it is a crane stock, probably designed for nunchuck battery. And here you got your fuse, which I have checked, standard Tamiya wiring, and like look at this coiled wiring in the buffer tube. And it's really thick, rubberized, like insulated wiring, so no cheap stuff that'll rip, nothing like that, like say VFC or something. But I am gonna take the stock off right now because you do need to remove a screw at the bottom of this buffer tube. Okay, it looks like the rubberized wiring part stops about here. I believe it's supposed to be like, look at these wires, man. Gotta get this thing out. Some wires all up in. Alright, so got the screw out, and yeah, there we go. Now it looks like this has been home done by somebody, or somebody tried to fix that. I believe that is the problem. So, good thing I might not have to take apart the gearbox today. But this definitely looks like some shitty work. Some brown electrical tape. Never seen that before. Let's see what they did. Okay, that one's just in there. So this is supposed to unhook. It's really in there. Looks like it would be making a connection though. The metal contacts are inside of each other. Alright. I don't know why these were taped up, because they both look like they're in their place. And they seem to be a really tight fit too. Like, I can't pull these apart. They're in there. So these are making a connection. I really don't get why there was tape on it. It should have worked just fine, just like that. Alright, so currently I did test it with the motor and the LiPo, and these wires, which honestly they look fine to me, they're connected. So the metal's making contact, the system should be working. Or who knows, maybe I'm just a dumbass and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I am going to attempt to take apart the entire gun, see if there's a connection issue somewhere in there. Hopefully it's something simple and nothing like, I don't know, broken trigger contacts or something terrible. But I'm just going to get into it. If the camera shuts off randomly, because it's been doing that, then so be it. I don't want the video to be too long anyway, so I might just skip most of the boring taking apart tech stuff. But I do want to discover the solution to this. Alright, now since this is version 2, it comes apart just like the gun in the last video. So basically all M4s come apart the same way. Now all I have to do is take out, well no, I separate the upper from the lower, which is actually pretty easy. Now, I do look up disassembly videos before I do it myself, just so I don't fuck nothing up. And it looked like this would swivel on here and come up and then off. I don't know if it would just slide off though. Let's see how that do this. Okay. And looks like here is your inner barrel. Nice, nice. Now I don't know if this is aftermarket or if JG's come with this. It's got a Madbull type bore. Aircraft aluminum. That's cool. 6.01 millimeter. And the hop up does appear to be stock. But yeah, I don't know if JG's come standard with a Madbull type bore, but this looks like a pretty good barrel. It's aluminum, so my friend was thinking of upgrading his barrel, but this one would be absolutely perfect. Alright, that's cool. I always love opening up guns and seeing what's in them. I do want to do a overview of this gun and a shooting test when it is working again. So 2 videos of this gun. And my friend who owns this gun actually has a GoPro, so he'll be joining the 6 Echelon team. And he'll be fighting with us and shit, and he'll also have some gameplay, I bet, with this gun. Actually, he's got 2 guns, so you might see this gun or his other gun. Another captive pin with a threading on it, much more intense. So hammer it out of the left side if it's probably your first time taking this gun apart. Alright, so from here, the gearbox. Oh yeah, this also has to come out just a little bit. This little hop up. Or no, it's like a feeding tube or whatever. Okay, it's being difficult. It's supposed to come out with the selector switch on safe, and I don't know, just flex. There we go. All right, now this should disconnect in order for me to, you know, not have this thing attached to it the whole time. But look at that. There we go. Alright, so got the lower receiver off of the gearbox and got the gearbox. It looks pretty good, to be honest. I noticed the paint on this JG is like really good, like good quality paint. Alright, so we got nothing but the gearbox right now and the wires. Something I did notice is that the tappet plate and the nozzle are stiff. Like they're stiff as, you know what I mean. But they're not moving at all. So let's take it apart and see what could possibly be causing this gun not to function. Damn, I just do not have the tool for this. I'll use one of these stupid gimmicky things. They're like star keys. Never seen a gearbox with those before. Fucking star keys. The reason I hate this tool is that it's a piece of shit, to be honest. Like, it's just Chinese and it doesn't work right. It'll just spin right over the screw. Like, the screw is harder to take out. This thing will just move. Just useless fucking thing. Look at that. Like, I'm turning it, look. And the thing, this is fucking retarded. Like, I have the tool, but the contraption literally is just so fucking shit. Like, this thing's breaking. Ah, God. This thing I can do is hook it up to this stupid thing, which really doesn't work right. But at least if I grab it with some pliers, I can get enough torque. Moment of truth. Open it up. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so the JG M4 gearbox. Noticing a lot of grease buildup on this anti-rotation switch. Look at that. Look at that grease all up on there. It's a lot of it. Anyway, let's get to the basics of taking this apart and inspecting all of the little internals. This is very nice. Look at that. Ball bearing gears. That is nice. I've actually never seen these before. And they had this little cover that I could just pick the damn thing up. Yeah, so pretty nice design. They got some ball bearings inside of it. It's pretty cool. Now I got all the components out, and let's take a look at our compression parts. Looks like this is a TM clone where the spring is attached to the piston. So full plastic teeth with only one steel, ported piston head, and a pretty good looking, what's it called, O-ring. And a basic cylinder. Let's check out the compression. Ooh, really good compression. Look at that. I could barely get it past this part. Here, look at that. Fantastic compression. Much better than the last gun I tested. Now, since we've gone through all the things that could possibly make the gun not work, so we're not getting any response to the motor or anything. We got a okay fuse and everything. So I'm suspecting that there's a problem with the trigger contacts. Alright, so what I noticed is something that I've actually done before in the past, is you can see that this one looks like it's been bent inward so that it's a tighter fit on that contact. And it's something I've done to the King Arms Thompson. But I'm thinking that it might have some carbon buildup on the contacts. So I'm going to get a little file and file off any carbon that I find. And hopefully that should get some kind of response. Otherwise, just going through the gun's electrical components. Unless something's wrong here somehow, I don't really see what's causing the issue. Well, once again, I am stumped. I'm looking at this, and it's a little dirty, so I will, scratch some of that carbon off. But looking at these, they look fine. This should get the gun to work. Alright, so I scratched them up pretty good. Got a lot of the nasty black carbon off of the contacts. I'm not going to film me putting it back in, but I will film me testing it, just to save time. Alright, so I did a number of different things that ultimately got it to work, but I got the motor to spin. Check this out. It's a pretty good, powerful motor, I must say. But I did several things. One thing I did was take apart the trigger contacts and everything completely apart, and I bent the two prongs that make contact on this side were touching, and then the moment this barely went on there, the motor went crazy. So I got the motor to spin at least, so the connection is now working. Another thing, well, I bent it all together and I filed off all the carbon buildup and a little bit of green, that fungus stuff that builds up on batteries, the battery fungus. It's a little itty bit of that on the back of one of these contacts. So I just cleaned up the contacts really nicely. And another thing was I actually took this and unplugged it in backwards. Not that I think it makes a difference or anything, but the gun now spins the motor, so in theory the gun should shoot just fine. Before I put it back together, of course, I am going to grease it up with some white lithium grease. So I'm just going to put it where the gears are going to spin, and then on the rails for the piston to ride on. The piston already has some kind of grease on it, some clear grease, but I'm going to put this lithium grease, which is what's recommended for the inside of gearboxes, and just to make sure that these gears spin nice and smooth. I have noticed that there is a tooth missing right here, but it still lines up nicely with the other gear, so I'm not too worried about that. It'll still work just fine. I would not recommend using a lipo in this gun if the teeth are going to break that easy, so I recommend to my friend who may be watching this when it comes out, or maybe he's already got his gun by now by the time it's uploaded, but use a nickel hydrate. Alright, so entire gun back together. It was a little frustrating at times, but it wasn't too bad, it's no jelly Sparota. Wow, that is intense. Alright, so just like that, the gun is fixed. I'd say that the cause of this was carbon buildup on the trigger contacts and a little bit of electrical green-blue fungus that you get with electrical stuff. Little amount of that was on the gun's contacts, on not even the part that the trigger trolley thing goes into. It was actually down here's away. So I still cleaned them up, bent them so that they weren't touching exactly, because when they were touching, the gun was firing by itself, so they were just about like yay apart. and apparently that got the gun to work. I'm gonna go put some BBs in it, test fire it, make sure it's good to go, make sure it's Fighter Town worthy. Post repair, customer number 2's gun, the JG-M4 RIS CQB. This gun's super loud. I think it's because of the shimmy. Successful repair. Gun is in 100% working order.